Not sure if many of you know, but we do have a virtual tier within the Design Coven, virtual pro member tier, which includes 3 virtual meetings a month where we set intentions. We do group coaching. So bring all your questions. We answer those questions and you get to learn from other people going through the same struggles as you. We also do a business practice meeting. So we'll have somebody on to share a business practice that we can all benefit from. And then we also do a product training. So getting a sustainable, eco-friendly line to come on, share who they are so that we can be supported with other like-minded businesses. And if you're not quite ready for pro, you can always join our free community where you will connect with other like-minded holistic interior designers. You don't have to be an interior designer if you are kind of just dabbling or you're aspiring or you're looking into this field. We invite everybody from all journeys, and you don't, again, have to be a designer. You don't have to have a degree. We're just a beautiful community of like-minded people looking to create healing spaces, not just for ourselves, but for our clients and future clients. Come join us at designcoven.com/join. We are at episode 78, and today's speaker is Lisa Beres. She is going to talk all things healthy and wellness in our homes. We are detoxing, which is perfect for the new year. Let me tell you a little bit about Lisa. I have the honor of coming on their podcast, Healthy Home Hacks, to talk about my business practices and feng shui and holistic interior design. So I thought it would be so perfect to have her here at the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. Lisa Beres is a healthy home authority, Baubiologist, published author, professional speaker, and Telly award-winning media personality who teaches busy women how to eliminate toxins from their home with simple, step-by-step solutions to improve their health. After becoming ill from toxins in a newly remodeled home, and together with her husband, Ron, Lisa co-founded the Healthy Home Dream Team and the Healthy Babes Academy. Lisa is the author of the children's book, My Body, My House, and the co-author of Just Green It, Simple Swaps to Save the Planet and Your Health. Lisa's national television appearances include Dr. Oz, the Home Shopping Network, the Rachael Ray Show, Nightly News, Today, The Doctors, Fox and Friends, Chelsea Lately, and the Suzanne Somers Show. Today, through content creation, a blog with over 900 articles, a podcast, Healthy Home Hacks, and online digital training programs, Lisa helps people thrive, not just survive in today's toxic world. And I hope that you are inspired to take some action on releasing toxins in your home, as well as learning more so that you can support your own clients with creating healthy environments in their spaces. You're listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. This is a podcast that guides you as a new or inspiring independent interior designer navigating your entrepreneurial path. Here, with my over 20 years experience, I will share my holistic approach to design with intention and ancient practices, including feng shui, all incorporating mind, body, and spirit into my design projects. You will also learn from seasoned interior designers as they give strategies and insight of how they built their businesses and continue to work in the field. Together, we will discover supportive trade partners, new ideas, creatives, and inspiring artists from around the world. I'm your host, Rachael Ray Crawford. Hello. Welcome back to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. Today, we have Lisa Beres on with us, and we're going to be talking all things healthy, wellness in the home. She is an expert in this space. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you so much. It is so great to be here. We had you on our podcast, so it's really nice to be connecting again. Ron and I absolutely loved your episode and your energy and everything about you. So it's great to be here.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I love having you on mine now. So it's like we get to kind of play with both of our audiences and learn so much from each other, because there's just amazing stuff out there. I'm going to go ahead and set our space, just opening up with the intention of communication and connection, sharing all of this beautiful knowledge for creating healthy homes for not just ourselves, but our clients. I've got a beautiful 100% beeswax candle here from Mithras, so I absolutely adore them. Pretty
unscented. One of my tips coming up.
That's so nice. Yeah, just pure beeswax. And I've also got our crystal deck. I have the radiant crystal deck that I love to connect with. It just kind of helps us with connecting with the vibration for today and a crystal. And this is Angel Light, and this is for awareness, communication, our higher selves. It activates the throat chakra. And yeah, the affirmation here is, I am connected to source energy and my higher self. So
nice.
Need some
I
of
love
that.
it. I love it.
Yes,
I love
yes,
it. Love
yes.
it. That's one of my, we're, I'm always telling Ron, my husband, who's very, who you met, he can be a real open book, and he's very free to speak. And I always tell him I need to work on my throat chakra more. That not worrying what people think, not being that people pleaser energy, and trying to be just so, like, I don't want to say politically correct, but pleasing everybody all the time. So
absolutely. You have to really dig into your authentic voice and not apologize for it.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that was the perfect card for today.
I always start with asking, what is home? So I'm curious for you at the moment, because home, I feel like, always evolves and changes as we grow. What's home for you at the moment?
It is a lot of things. Right now, it's a safe place. I think we all feel that we really need that safe grounding place more than ever, with everything going on in the world and the chaos and the uncertainty that we've all been going through. And so it's become, even for me, just that place where I can just come and know that I'm safe and secure and protected. And it is a lot of things too, though. It's also a place of beauty. As a past interior designer, which we'll get into, it's very important for me to be around beauty and to surround myself with beauty. And that's just something that was in me from the time I was little. I loved beautiful things, and I guess we all do, but a lot of people really maybe haven't acknowledged that, right? Like that I need to have that clear, beautiful space. So I'm always doing something. It doesn't even have to be a big remodeling project, just something little, like repainting that, or moving that chair, or getting a new piece of furniture.
Absolutely.
So a place of beauty. And I'm home based in my office, so it's also a place. Yeah, it's also a place for me that needs to be, I say it's the canvas from which I create. And I do think of my home that way, because if you have, and especially for me, if there's clutter and chaos and too much going on, I can't think clearly. I can't tap into that creative energy that I need to for work and for my marriage and for even family, like family coming over. And I love to host and I love to entertain. So I also think of my home as a welcoming place. I love to entertain. I love to have dinner parties and all of that. So it's a place of that. And we love wildlife, and we have a lot of wildlife that has recently come to our home. Yes, we're feeding them. We're randomly coming. But I don't know if we talked about this when we had you on the show, but we had six baby doves, 2 each time, born on our deck. And that's really what started the whole thing. And then we got very passionate about these doves and helping them. And we feed them dove food, wild dove food. And now we've got hummingbird feeders. And so we have like at least 10 hummingbirds that come. And now we have a little baby squirrel that was just born. And he's their little family. So it's also a place for nature. You think I live in the mountains. I don't. I live in like a total development, like a housing development. But it's amazing, the connection to the animals and how you can have that by just creating even a small space on your balcony to welcome that. And I suggest everyone listening get a hummingbird feeder.
Heck they're crazy. And they're so aggressive, but they're beautiful, and they're
they're like little children. They're really, really funny. We don't have pets, so Ron and I are like, oh good, now we have like 50 wild animals.
It's so awesome. We love it. You touched on it a little bit about being a past interior designer, and I would love for you to share your origin story of how you've come into this space of really being an expert on wellness in the home and, being able to share about toxins and things that people don't even think about. And so I'm curious if you could share a bit about how all that came to be.
Yeah, it's quite a story. I was an interior designer, went to college for that, and had been working in corporate America as an interior designer, and everything was going great. I loved my job. And then when I was engaged to Ron, my husband, I moved into this little newly remodeled beach house. We were living in South Bay. And the house was a cutest little cottage kind of place, a block from the ocean. And it had, I thought I hit the jackpot, visually. I did.
Yeah.
Visually. Hardwood floors, but with that meant new sealants on the hardwood floors, a brand new fireplace, new vinyl windows, all new kitchen cabinets, which we'll talk about why all this was so bad in a minute. New carpeting, new paint. I was working out of the house. My office was actually in the bedroom, and that was like an electronic explosion of, wireless radiation and all of the electronics. So after moving in there, immediately just my health started spiraling down. And I went to 12 different doctors, like every kind of doctor you can think of, acupuncture, endocrinologist, MDs, NDs, you name it.
And what were the symptoms that you were experiencing when all that went down?
I had amenorrhea. So my menstruation cycle just stopped. I was chronically fatigued. I was chronically bloated. I had major lowered immunity. So I would just get sick at the drop of a hat. I literally couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I just felt so sluggish and so blah and just sick all the time. I mean, it was like PMS, but you never were menstruating. So that just it was in a chronic state of that. All the doctors basically just, they just didn't know what to do. They said, we know this is happening, but we don't know what to give you. So sometimes I would leave with bags of supplements and getting shots of hormones and all of this stuff. And I wasn't getting better. And I came across a magazine called Natural Home and found Building Biology. Now Ron and I are building biologists, which is the study of how your environment affects your health and the planet. And unlike green and sustainability, this actually is all health focused. So as I was reading, it's like, wait a minute, I have all these symptoms that they're talking about that are linked to these particular chemicals that are in my home. So I just started digging deep. I started immersing myself in this. I became a building biologist over time, and my health did a 180 after a year. 1 year of cleaning up bit by bit by bit. And it really extended beyond the home into my personal care and a lot of that too.
Okay.
Because prior to this, Rachel, I literally was working out all the time. I was going to yoga. I was vegetarian. I was shopping at Whole Foods. I literally thought I was doing everything right. Yeah. So then that happened. It just shocked me. So that's what happened. So that's how we got into this. And then my husband said, Lisa, at that time, there really weren't a lot of good options for organic products for your home and all of this. So he said, let's start an online store where we can actually provide beautiful linens and air purifiers and water filters and all of this. We started greennest.com. We had that for 6 years. And then we sold it and really are now into more the educational aspect because we discovered, you've got the people who really get it, but there's so many people that still don't. And so we really outreach is a big part of our mission and passion now.
That's incredible. And so did you have the online store along with practicing interior design or was there a transition there? Or?
No, I didn't actually. I was originally going to be like a holistic, eco-friendly interior designer, healthy designer. Yeah. But that's when my husband said, well, I think we can reach more people if we do this store. And trust me, that was a full-time job.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
That and we were all over the country speaking. We published 2 books. We were on 24 national TV shows over this span. So it was full time because we were just kind of green was exploding. We wanted to really ride that wave. So
yeah. And so when did all this start to happen? When did the illness start showing up? What year was that?
Probably 2004.
So almost 20 years of
almost 20 years. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? Because the crazy part of it is a lot hasn't changed with the chemicals, like the things that made me sick, which I know we're going to get into.
Yeah.
are still legally allowed. They're still in these products, and there's a lot of awareness now. There's a lot of awareness, yet legislation just hasn't caught up. So I'm still going to keep doing this until we get that changed, until we can go out and buy things for our home without the fear that they're going to have cancer-causing chemicals and make you or your family sick.
Absolutely.
So,
So going into that, do you have like your top things that maybe you can share with us that we can kind of start looking at within our homes now and start making some changes as we sit here? And then of course we can talk about your podcast and all the resources that you have to offer, but I would love to give them something at this moment that they can kind of take away from our conversation.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I won't do when I first got into this. My husband and I laughed so hard. I was so passionate and so excited, and I would meet someone like out at a party or a social gathering, and I'd corner them and I'd be like, you gotta do this. And needless to say, the person would be like running away. So I won't do that today. That's one of the things, that I also had to learn was, there's so much. I mean, we could do 2 days worth of this. So it's just keeping it in digestible baby steps for your listeners and your audience. Just simple things that we can do, because there's a lot of toxins in our home and in your life that you don't even know. Because people will also say to me, oh no, I'm healthy. Oh yeah, I do everything. I'm like, yeah, okay, let me ask you, boom, 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 and they're like, what?
Like, what are you talking about?
Wait, that green juice, is it, cutting it? I would start with your indoor air, because I like to call it the umbrella of your home, right? We take about 25,000 breaths a day. And according to the EPA, the indoor air in the average home is 2 to 5 times more polluted than the outdoor air. So and now with the green buildings, very tightly sealed, we've created like a cesspool where we bring these toxins in unknowingly through our cleaning products, our pesticides, our personal care, our furniture that off gases, the paints, all of this, everything. These toxins have nowhere to go. So we end up breathing them in. We inhale that. And these can include things like VOCs. If anyone's not familiar, that's volatile organic compounds. That's when you see paints that are labeled low VOC or zero VOC. That's what they're talking about, these chemicals that off-gas into the air. And in these group of chemicals, you have formaldehyde, benzene, toluene, chemicals that literally are cancer-causing chemicals that are legally allowed in your home every day. The government doesn't regulate our indoor air. There's no law against how clean your air is. So it's really up to you to do a good job with that. And there's a lot of rabbit holes that we could go down. But I would just say, as a general rule, think about that. Just be conscious of what you're bringing in, because it's going to off-gas. New product, the new home smell is chemicals off-gassing. I know we all love that smell. We were like programmed to think, oh, it's great. And that was my story with my little cottage. It smelled, it smelled new and it was exciting. But those are actually chemicals, and that's that smell that we're smelling. Some of them we can't smell, like formaldehyde. It can be found in floorboard, particle board, MDF. It's in insulation. It can be found in permanent press fabric. So like even your draperies and linens, and even your clothes, if they're permanent press, wrinkle-free, no iron, all of that. Oh, and the big polluter in your home is your kitchen cabinets. Because that particle board that they use in the shelving, that's a big emitter of formaldehyde, and formaldehyde is a carcinogen. So just being aware, just being conscious of the products you buy. And it is good to invest in good quality furniture that you're going to have around that is like real wood and not that cheap particle board that's going to. I would say your bedroom is the most important room in the house. And so I would address that first. And most people address it last, right?
Yeah. And they always think of the bedroom as the last thing. No one's in there. It's just me.
Right. It's just me. No one's going to see it in a company. But it's the room you spend the most time in. And it's the room that you need to heal in. And so there's a lot of things that you can do in your bedroom. If you have an air purifier, you should put it in there. And if you don't have an air purifier, get one. Definitely have one. It's essential today to have a good air purifier. And, organic bedding. I mean, yes, this might sound expensive, and it can be, but like I say, take it in baby steps. Like, okay, maybe I'm just going to start with these organic sheets, and then maybe I'll invest in the pillow. And then maybe, when I'm ready for the big investment, in a couple of years, however long it is, you'll get the mattress, because that is a big investment. And take that in steps. And before you know it, you'll have a very healing environment.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then, opening windows, changing your air filter just to keep that air clean. There's a lot of other tips I can give you. And lastly, I would say this is a big one.
Okay.
Electromagnetic radiation.
Oh, yeah. So how do we solve that?
Yeah, well, that's not going to be solved in a day. But what you can do right now is say, I'm going to limit my use. I'm going to make sure that my phone, when I'm not using it, is either off or in airplane mode. Okay, because it is the biggest polluter for everybody. It's the number one polluter of where you're getting the exposure. Yes, you're getting it if you have Wi-Fi and through like all of the wire. Think anything wireless, wireless. A baby monitor, a gaming device, your computer, anything that's wireless is emitting radio frequency radiation, which is classified as a 2B carcinogen. And, it's scary. The studies that are out there on it are actually so scary, but a lot of people just don't know. They think they're safe because we're allowed to go buy them and use them however we want.
Right.
But, it's up to us, unfortunately, to be aware and be knowledgeable about that. And it's getting to a point where it's almost impossible to escape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Try to create the bedroom, going back to that room again, trying to create a bedroom that doesn't have any electronics or any wireless. And when you go to bed at night, turn the phones off. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised how many people sleep with their phones on near their head.
I know.
And you can actually still use your phone as an alarm with it on airplane mode. So there's no excuse to have it on at night. You definitely don't need it on.
Okay. Yeah. And I've heard, I've seen like these EMF blockers and these devices and things. Are you familiar with any of those? And do you know, are there ones that you can recommend, or do they work? I've only like seen, advertisements here and there, but I've never actually used one.
No, that's such a great question. Yes, some are just an absolute waste of money and do nothing. And there are the one that we really, really like is by Aries Tech. And it uses EMF modulation technology, not blocking. It doesn't block. It actually converts the wave into a harmless wave that's more biocompatible with our body. So the theory is, and this is why a lot of them are kind of just junk.
Right.
If you block your phone, if you block yourself from the radiation from your phone, you're also blocking the signal. There's no other way around it. You either can make a call and you're getting the radiation near you, or you're blocking it. So when people say they're blocking it, that's not true. They're only partially blocking it. And if you take EMF meters and test that, you'll find out, well, maybe if you block one side, the back side is now higher level of radiation, right? The radiation has to get to the phone to make the signal. And the weaker the signal, the stronger the radiation. So when you have 1 bar, you're actually getting a higher level of radiation than if you had 4 or 5 bars. Because that signal's having to work extra hard to get to you.
Got it.
So Aries Tech is great. They're I hate to say stickers because there's so many junky stickers that do nothing.
Yeah.
This one actually has 8 patents. It was based on military technology, and because it modulates, it's not actually blocking the signal. It's actually like converting the wave, so to speak. So I love those. Other than that, it's a Faraday cage or a Faraday bag, when you're not using it. But I feel like, well, what's the point? You may as well just turn it off when you're not using it, right?
For sure.
So.
And then how can we learn more about, these chemicals and these things that are in our spaces and we don't really know that they even exist or that are there? Like, I assume you have a bunch of resources and things that you have to offer. Is there a place that we can start? Like, how do we start learning?
Yeah, I actually, like you said, 20 years later, created an online program, a membership site called the Healthy Babes Academy. And it's a 13-month program where when you join, and it's designed for women because we're the ones that typically make the health decisions in the home. We're the ones that protect the children and the spouses usually. So, it's kind of designed for women. It's very digestible because that was the issue, is there's so much to all of this.
Right.
I didn't want to overwhelm people. So every week you get a module.
Okay.
And like, say your first week is how to read cleaning label products, how to know what to avoid, what are the code words to avoid,
Yeah.
what should you look for, how can you trust if it's really what it says. So you might get like a PDF, or maybe you get a PDF printout of do-it-yourself homemade cleaning products or homemade pesticides. So every week it's just a little bit of information that you get. Sometimes it's a video, it might be a checklist, a journal. And that is my big passion project that I have been working on, because I really wanted a place that was simple. And hey, if you don't have kids, you skip the children's section. If you don't have pets, you skip the pet section. So it's not like you have to do the whole thing. It's there for you. You have your own login and a portal where you can access everything and connect with other people in the group, to share information. There's healthy recipes. It gets into like
Amazing.
gluten and all of that too, and GMOs and things like that. So there's healthy recipes in there because we partnered with a nutritionist for that part of it.
It's fantastic.
And that's really, and our website, runandlisa.com, we have over 900 articles. So the information's there, but that's a lot, right? That's overwhelming. Am I really going to read 900 articles or listen to, 75 of your podcasts? Probably not. So, we drip feed it. We drip feed it in a way where it kind of builds on each other, right?
Got it.
And so, like the wireless, there's a 17-step strategy in there, to reduce your wireless radiation. It's literally essential today. If you do nothing after this interview, please do that. Do that one thing. Be really consciously aware of the wireless radiation, because we haven't even really seen the generational effects of that, because a lot of this is just still so new, and technology is just moving so fast. Our physical bodies can't keep up with that.
Yeah, that's really nuts. So I'm just like, because I get overwhelmed really fast. I'm like, oh my God, there's like so much stuff here. But I love that you're able to.
That's what I didn't want to do.
Yeah. No, you are not overwhelmed. I'm just like, oh, there's so much. I feel like I know like hardly anything, in this world. And it's so important to be able to educate our clients, because they are coming to us, for these homes that are going to support them with not, with their health and their physical being and their happiness and everything. So being able to be a designer and have this knowledge to bring to them is going to be huge. I mean, it's just a huge asset to bring as a whole.
And you're doing such an important part. I mean, some of the stuff that we talked about when we had you on with the blessing of the buildings and the feng shui and all that's it's all so cohesive, right? I mean, what we do and what you do, it's all really, really important. And I'm sure you tell your clients the same thing, like Rome wasn't built in a day, there's so much you can do even after the fact. The EMF's like a really important part. Like we're hardwired, which is like in the Stone Ages, we choose to be hardwired. That's really rare. But I'm here to tell you, you can definitely do it and have all your technology. We don't have any Wi-Fi in our home, or even our meters are wired. We pay extra. We have to pay the utility companies extra to have them come out and read it. It's like $10 a month or something. But it's all about like the toxic body burden is we go through life and we get all this toxic exposure through air and water and all this stuff we're talking about. And then boom, one day, maybe you have an allergic response, or maybe you get a respiratory illness, or maybe in a worst case scenario, you get diagnosis like cancer or something, which we see all the time. And I don't want to say this to be scary, but I do. It's a stat that a lot of people don't know. CDC Cancer now says 1 in every 3 women and 1 in every 2 men will develop cancer in his or her lifetime. And that is scary, and I don't like to be fear-mongering, but I'm only saying that because we have all these things that we're talking about, EMFs and the formaldehyde and the carcinogens that are in our home. All of this is adding little by little by little by little, so they can say to you, well, this, this meets our level of emissions. This meets our government level. Well, but you didn't add in that and that and that and that and that and that, and you base that on a 200, pound male, and and we're all different, right? We're all at a different level of like health, and so it's our job. It's sadly it's been put back on the consumer, to take control and make those decisions. And I don't think you need to become like a scientist, I think just have the resources. Our site, we're always available to help with information. Even your group of designers, feel free to reach out if you have specific questions. And, like I said, just start with the knowledge. Once you have the awareness, you'll just start questioning things more and start, like when you first eat healthy, right? You start looking at labels and you're like, wait a minute. So it's just kind of like that.
Cool.
And taking it in baby steps.
Yeah, that's so approachable. Amazing. So I'm curious, I always want to know, I feel like, our lives are so busy, and I know you have so many things going on. How do you stay grounded and centered, and how do you come back to yourself, either at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, or just kind of...
Yeah, haphazard. Some days aren't as smooth. Well, I would like to say that I wake up and meditate first thing every day, but that is not true. That's my goal. I'm aiming toward that. And it's like spotty. So some days I do it, and some days it happens at night, and some days it doesn't happen. So I'd like to get to the point where I'm meditating first thing, right? Before you turn on the computer or your phone. But it's like night and day when I do that, right? Yeah. The day goes like very different. I ground also through nature. Talked about at the beginning with all these animals.
I love that.
Yeah. And just actually because of COVID, when our gym closed, we were forced to go hiking.
Okay.
And we live really close to Newport Coast and Newport Beach and Laguna and all these like beautiful hiking trails and hills. Yeah. And so we were laughing because it's so pretty. It's free. And why weren't we doing that before, right?
Like,
why were we going to the gym all the time? Like, it's just, I can't go back. We canceled our membership because not just the workout, right? It's not even about the workout. Yeah. It is a little, but it's, oh my God, I didn't know about how powerful this connection is to nature. I had no idea how incredible these animals, and we get to know these animals. We have names for them. It's so neat. We'll go and see them in the same spots. At, they'll tend to stay in their areas, the hawks, the bunnies, the mice, everything. And all the birds, you're getting fresh air. Yep. You're getting vitamin D from the sun. You're getting the negative ions from, the nature, from the ocean and also from the hills. I tell you, no matter what mood I'm in, no matter what's going on, I feel always like so grounded after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a must for me too. It's just going outside and going for a walk.
Yeah, same. Isn't it? It sounds so simple and like, oh, that's not going to do anything, but it does. It really changes. It shifts your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like if I get off a phone, or I've just been like in it and I'm like, I got to go out. I got to get a walk. So it's like, I'll take a little break, go outside, get a walk, come back. And it's like totally different, refreshed.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Yeah. And we spend 90% of our time indoors as Americans. So we've got to do that. It's essential now. And I guess the last thing I'd say is I do have an earthing pad. Are you familiar with those?
No. Let me know. What do you got? What's happening?
Okay. You're going to love it. It's earthing. Have you heard of earthing? Yes. Where you go barefoot, you walk barefoot? Okay. I figured you would. Okay. And so you're connecting like we used to the earth, right? We used to have that incredible connection to the earth, which we've lost. Even the way the shoes are made, like we don't even have the shoes. We don't even get the connection. So you really need to be barefoot. So if you're anywhere that you can all run barefoot and grass at the beach, you should always do that. But because we don't always have the opportunity to do that, this company, Clint Ober, we did a podcast interview with him. If you go back,
okay,
he's amazing. He founded this company, Earthing, and they create pads. They're like sheets, so they'll go like on the lower third of your mattress, kind of like run across, and then it plugs in to the grounding outlet. Okay, so not the actual 2-prong outlet, but the third prong, which is the ground, right? When it has a 3-prong, you have to have a 3-prong, and then you put it into the third one, which connects to the earth. It's the grounding, basically. And you sleep on that. And it's basically equivalent to what it would feel like to have your feet touching the earth while you're sleeping.
Wow.
People have had like less cramping, less inflammation, less hormonal issues, less like sleep. People who have like severe insomnia, sleep issues, like it's huge. It makes a huge difference. Yeah. And so they make the sheet for the bed. They make blankets that you can just sit and watch TV and put your blanket on. They make pads for under your desk while you're working, like a little pad that you would ground. Yeah. So you can do that. And they're just an incredible company. So yeah, we sleep with that. So that's our literal grounding every night.
So rad. I'm going to have to look that up. That sounds amazing. Yeah. How cool. So it's just reconnecting with the earth like we did back in the day when we slept on the ground. And
yeah. And really you only need to actually touch like barefoot, your feet to feet. I think it's only really 10 minutes a day, but nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm so excited that you shared that with us.
Yes. All your clients will get one now.
Yes, we need that. I'm like, sweet, we'll do it. So how can we find you? What's the name of the podcast and your website and the membership and all these things?
Our website is ronandlisa.com. That's really easy. Just Ron and spelled out, ronandlisa.com. And from there, you can kind of access everything.
Okay.
The podcast link is there, and our podcast is Healthy Home Hacks. You can find that on all the streaming platforms. And then we've got a lot of cool free opt-ins when you get to the site. We have a synthetic fragrance. It's like an ebook, but I call it a guide. And it goes through every area in your life. We talked about candles at the top of the show, your beautiful wax candle, that why you don't want the fragrance candles. And this guide kind of digs deep and explains why all the fragrances, synthetic fragrances, are a big no-no for your home, for your hormonal system. So my hormonal issues, going back to the beginning, were from the chemicals in my home and in my life and in my personal care. Because you're like, well, what does that have to do with your home? Everything. Those endocrine disrupting chemicals are in so many of the products. So we have a free guide. You can opt in to get that. And we also have a top 10 plants to clean your air. Beautiful. Not just any plants. These are NASA approved plants that actually remove toxins from your air. And so you can get that. And then there's a link to the Healthy Babes Academy. Okay. That's the 13-month program. And you can join for $1 for 14 days and take it for a test spin and see if you like it. So
yeah. Okay, sweet. Well, we'll put all of that in the show notes so that people can start creating these beautiful, healthy homes in their lives. And then also, sharing this knowledge with their clients and creating a healthy planet. That would be such a beautiful thing and a goal for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love what you guys do. I just love it. It's so cohesive with, we're talking about how much we've lost these connections to Earth and a lot of that. And I love how you're bringing that back.
We're trying. Alrighty, Lisa, thank you so much. And like I said, we'll have everything in the show notes. So if anybody is curious and wanting to learn more, she's got a plethora of information and so much wisdom there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. If it's one that you have been enjoying, please share with anyone else that you think can benefit from this knowledge. And leave us a 5-star review that helps us get seen and found by other new and aspiring interior designers. And if you're looking for mentorship, I invite you to join our club here at the Design Coven. It's a bridge between school and real life interior design. We get in much deeper there. We have virtual and in-person events. So everyone is welcome. You don't need to have a design degree to be part of it, just an interest in holistic interior design. I also want to thank our editor, Marcy Ferry, Blake Ferris, for all of her special help with the podcast, our social media posts, newsletter, and lastly, Kinseth Thibodeau, who is our music composer. Until next time, be well, and we will see each other soon.